Hello, it's now Monday of week 11. We have 2 weeks of teaching left this semester, and many of you will be completing a number of assessments, including essays and class tests, over the next couple of weeks. How you handle these 2 weeks will have a significant impact on your grades and in turn on your opportunities for undergraduate study in the UK from September. For some of you, this is also your last opportunity to leave your teachers with a positive impression. I really want you to share this message with your families. What I'm trying to tell you here is important for them to hear, especially if you're currently back in the family home. In the IFP teaching team, we want you all to do well. We wouldn't be in education if we didn't want the best for you. Everybody wants to see you fulfill your potential. Now, not everybody is on track to achieve what they want to achieve, of course. And the purpose of this message is to give you advice based on 3 wishes from me and my colleagues. I will explain each wish with some actions you should do and some that you should not do. The 3 overarching actions that we wish for from you are that you communicate, cooperate, and concentrate. So I'll talk in a little bit more detail about each of these wishes. Communicate. I've emphasised the importance of effective communication from the beginning of your course. Communication is about how and what you say or write to us and to each other, but it's also very basic details like checking your Queen Mary email regularly. Some specifics for you on what to do and what not to do in terms of communication. Do inform us of circumstances unique to you that might affect your engagement and performance. We cannot read your minds. We can't guess. You need to tell us. If you miss an online class or fail to complete a task we've set but we don't know why, we'll assume that you don't care or that you're not interested. Don't ever give anyone a reason to assume this of you, in your education, your personal life, or in your future career. Do use group forums to ask general questions. My colleagues and I are receiving many questions from students, but many of these are repetitions of the same questions. Now, we can either spend our time replying to these questions, or we can reply once and then devote more time to teaching or giving you feedback. I think it should be obvious which is better for all of us. So please, if you have a general question about the IFP or about any module, ask in the communication channel for general questions. Now that might be a QM Plus forum for a subject like history, or it might be a WhatsApp group if it's something general aimed at me. Individual teachers will have already told you what they prefer. Now, another action for you, do check with other students for general information. Again, the more time teachers have to devote to teaching you, the better it is for you. If you can help each other with the basics, we can give you more help with the complexities. Do acknowledge important messages from teachers to demonstrate that you have received and read them. Teaching online is a little like giving a lecture with the light switched off. We can't see your faces and we can't tell whether you understand what we're saying or not. We can't tell whether you're listening or not. And we can't always tell whether you are present or not. Responding to our messages to let us know that you've read and understood them is like turning the light on and making your presence known. Don't miss an online teaching session or tutorial without telling us why. There is no situation in life where it is acceptable to make an appointment and then not show up without giving an apology or an explanation beforehand or after in the case of an absolute emergency. You wouldn't want anyone to think of you as disrespectful, but there are few things that you can do in life that are more disrespectful than not bothering to show up to an appointment and not being polite enough to communicate about it. Remember that we write references for you, and our recommendations might make the difference between you being accepted onto a degree program or rejected. Finally, for communication, don't forget your manners or what you've learned about communication so far this year. Like being isolated or learning online makes it even more important to be polite and respectful in your communication with us. It's not an excuse to revert to what you were like as a child at school. Okay, so let's communicate. Our next word is cooperate. Please don't impose on teachers. Consider how reasonable any request is before making it. Imposing on others discourages them from helping you. If everyone makes unrealistic demands on teachers, then nobody will receive help. Think about what you need and communicate that as precisely as possible in a way that your teacher will find easy to respond to. Emails that say, "Can you check my work?" or "What do I need to do?" or "How can I get an A?" These are terrible questions, and none will give you any advantage. So do show respect for teachers and their time. Make questions as specific as possible. Do also respect the fact that we are now trying to teach students in multiple time zones while coping with other responsibilities in the UK. We can't adapt all teaching to the needs of all students in all time zones. If you've managed to travel home, you are arguably luckier than many students still in London. Your teachers are now all working from home, and many of them have less time available than usual. You may need to adjust your routines at home to fit with your teacher's work schedule. There's no way to rearrange classes so that they suit every time zone perfectly, so please be prepared to compromise and help out by making some adjustments yourself before asking others to do so for you. Do take responsibility for your own learning and work together with your teachers. You should each be spending more time on your work than your teacher does. Linked to that, don't expect others, particularly teachers, to do the work for you. Remember that this is not school. Spoon feeding you is not going to help in the long term, and we're not going to do that. So do think about the impact of your words and actions on teaching staff and the impression you will leave on them. Okay? You can leave a very good impression by being willing and flexible and cooperative in these final 2 weeks of the semester and beyond. Okay, so we've had communicate, cooperate. Hopefully you remember that the third word was concentrate. Okay. Do read instructions and emails carefully, and do watch any videos that teachers make for you. If you're watching this video, then you're doing your bit. Don't ask for explanation of instructions before you have genuinely tried to understand them for yourself. Think about the impression you are leaving us with if you are that one student who keeps emailing teachers saying, "I don't know what to do," or "I don't understand this." If you can't be more specific than that, then you haven't thought carefully enough about what it is that's causing you a problem. Think about what message you are sending when, as someone expecting to be able to study at a Russell Group University for the next 3 years, you claim that you don't understand the kind of instructions that we set year in, year out, and which very few students genuinely have a problem with. Do remember the importance of time management. Linked to this, do keep a record of when you need to attend online classes and tutorials, when you need to complete tasks and tests, and when you need to submit assignments. Give your days and weeks structure. Speak to family and friends about this if you're at home. Make sure that everybody knows that although you have returned home, you are still on an intensive full-time course of study. Your friends and family want you to do well, so they need to give you time and space so that you can indeed do well. This includes not interrupting you while you're in tutorials. Do remember that you'll need to complete all of your work in order to earn your foundation certificate and progress to a degree program in September. It really isn't going to go away. Travelling home may have taken you out of action for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks, but we're not going to say you don't need to catch up. We're not going to cancel your assessments. If you don't complete work on time, you'll be given the opportunity to take assessments at a later date, but that might be August or even next year. If you don't want to delay the next stage of your education, don't waste time now. And finally, please don't make excuses for yourself. It's an easy trap to fall into, but can't is very different to don't want to. This is perhaps my most important piece of advice to you for your life. As soon as you start making excuses for yourself, you will underachieve. You will create a narrative that helps you to convince yourself and others that things weren't really fair and that it was something else, not you, that stopped you from achieving your goals. It's very rarely something else that holds an individual back on a foundation year. You can do it. Whenever you say you can't, please stop and ask yourself if you really mean you won't. I'd very much welcome your feedback on this message, so please do send me a quick email to say that you've seen it and tell me what you think. If there's anything you agree or disagree on, let me know. You don't have to write much, but it should be enough to let me know that you are indeed communicating, cooperating, and concentrating. Thank you.